Welcome back to EADM. In part 1 of our introductory video presentation, we took a brief look at an example of a fully automated study. Our clients typically schedule these automatic studies on a weekly basis. Now, let's explore the Start Study function and examine the EADM user interface in a bit more detail. We'll do this in real time. If we click on Start Study, we begin by inputting the customer name, the CPU, and the RMF or CMF level. If you're working in manual mode, it's important to name your study appropriately. In automatic mode, of course, all these details will be detected automatically. Click on Save, then click on the Import File icon and select the relevant RMF or CMF files you wish to analyze. EADM will import and process the files in question. This might take a few minutes, but rarely more than 5. It depends on the size of your RMF or CMF files, of course. EADM allows you to analyze only one LPAR or several LPARs and to compare the same two LPARs on different days. Our reports are archived, so they can provide you with an excellent benchmark, which will allow you to see if everything is running smoothly or if any part of the system is degrading. Now, once the process is complete, EADM will automatically open the first chart. This graph is called period. What we see here is a graph that charts 24 hours of your z/OS disk performance. On this chart, we can observe the start of the day, the lunch break, the coffee break time, and then the beginning of the batch period. In blue, we can see the number of I/O per second. In pink, we note the response time, which is connect time, good in this particular case, plus disconnect time, not so good in this chart, plus IOSQ, also not great here, plus pending time, which must be at 0.3 milliseconds. With EADM, nothing needs to be built or recreated. The software simply analyzes your data-rich RMF and/or CMF files. EADM does not require human resources to do all this. It's automatic, and you will have an email waiting for you at your office before 9 a.m. The next tab is LCU and I/O detail. Sometimes the need arises for upgrades or a hardware configuration change in an IT environment. This tab generates a graph that accurately shows if there is any kind of dysfunction in the LCU. If we click on this line, we can see the LCU consumption details. The Summary tab. The summary is your disk signature in real time. Each client has a different disk signature, but it must remain stable with time. If the signature is not stable, it represents a malfunction which EADM will clearly detect. This summary can be provided for one or more LPARs. Alerts. So, let's click on the Alert Setting icon. Alerts are an undeniable advantage of EADM. The alerts are results and responses to particular searches for problematic behavior patterns. If any disk volumes are showing catastrophic response time weighted averages, you will be alerted. As you will see here, it's important to monitor weighted averages because they often hide problems on your disks. Alerts can also provide a list of volumes that could be migrated on SSD. Error. Sometimes the RMF and CMF text files contain syntax errors. EADM will single out these errors, ignore them, and continue to create the reports. It's done automatically. The Volume by Period tab. Once EADM has identified the precise hours during which your disk function is suboptimal, you have the option of using this tab to isolate the problematic time frame and display it in detail. This will help you detect what is causing the difficulty. Small decollect. It would be a shame to only have access to the response time and not to be able to see the disk fill rate. The decollect function allows you to access the fill rate by volume and by STO group. This will help you determine whether or not the volumes are filling up too quickly or if all is stable. EADM's small decollect function is particularly interesting because it allows you to visualize the disk space your company's data uses in a very simple way. Sometimes there are surprises, and your disks are too full or empty. This function also displays a graph of the fragmentation index, which sometimes can be a cause of disconnect time. The Decollect tab. Now, this is one of the most useful functions of EADM. With this table, EADM provides an alternate view of the classic decollect. If a certain disk volume is causing performance problems, you can use decollect to find out which files are written on that particular volume. Here, you can see a list of the files that will be affected by your disk's bad response time. The Space Used, Volume Used tab. Now this graph can be scary, but it is realistic. Very often there are a lot of volumes that simply are not used. Space Used, Volume Used shows the number of volumes that are truly used over 30-minute periods. The final tab is CPU period. This shows the MSU consumptions, the disk response time, and the number of I/O, all on a single board. Formerly, several studies and numerous manipulations were required to access this same information. Now, EADM shows it in every report. The CPU period function was created in response to input from our customers. We always encourage customer feedback. In fact, we often incorporate our customers' suggestions into our software upgrades. Over the years, we have learned that word of mouth about our product is our very best sales tool. If you have any other questions, or if you're interested in our free 30-day trial, please contact us. Once again, we thank you for your interest in EADM.